Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Today is December 31st, 2014, New Year's Eve. Right now it's about 12:50 on the East Coast and 9:50 on the West Coast. Gonna do a live video as a last video of 2014. And first of all, before I go and start looking at some of the chart, let's just go and look at this page here. This is on the WallStreetJournal.com, and the market seems to turn mixed. So, and wasn't a surprise to me because earlier, I was looking at this, some of the breadth indicator, and you would notice that the down volume was exceeding the up volume. So that kind of gave me a little bit of a heads up that I think there's some weakness underneath the surface here in the market, although the advanced decline is positive. So for those that's watching the trend, and you could calculate that based on the up-down volume ratio and the advanced decline line, then you know that it's going to be a greater than 1. Okay, so it's a good page to visit throughout the day because it does give you some update if your charting software, your screen doesn't have a page up with all these some of these breadth indicator. I think it's a good idea to kind of just check on this once in a while throughout the day. Then you can see some of the underlying strength within the market. Okay, so let's go and take a look at the chart here. First of all, we're talking about Twitter. Post a Twitter, block, I think sometime last week, and we're talking about a setup here. Essentially, let me get this. We're talking about setup. Essentially, we're looking at this particular, inside bar type of a coiling effect and watching this to break above this particular high on this candle here, which is 39.25. And you note that there's a downtrend, price channel coming down. And essentially, before the, last Friday, that we booked you here. Is this last Friday or is that Monday? Let me check on the calendar here, the 29th. No, that's a Monday. So before Monday, this candle that came down and broke below this engulfing candle low, we're essentially looking for a breakout of this candle, and essentially the setup is to break above this downtrend and also making a sort of a higher high because you can see that it came down on this downtrend on this trend line here. It kind of got a little bounce, and this low here kind of also came above this particular low. So you could set up a little bit of a rising trend line here. We basically are looking for this bounce here and it came up. So you got this little trend line here. Right, so essentially we're looking for this thing to break this trend line, maybe possibly work itself back up to this 43 level. And as you can see, that it broken down, and right now it's kind of retracing, and even broke below this 36.14, which is this particular pivot point here that we've been looking at for quite a while. So right now we're essentially looking at the tweeters probably to continue to come down, maybe possibly get down to this 30 level here, essentially come down and look, maybe touch this downtrend line here. So we'll see because definitely right now this swing long type of setup is no longer valid. As a matter of fact, if you are shorting this thing, looking for a short, Monday or Tuesday would be a nice short setup with a trigger to go short. Either once it come down to this 36.14. So Twitter is off the table for a possible swing long. Then the other one is Baba. Alibaba, we're also looking at this trend line here. It kind of came down and bounced off this trend line and set up this declining trend line. So it's like a little triangle here. Right? And then again, we're looking for this engulfing candle. It was coiling in there. When I put this post on there, this before this like the last two trading session, and it was coiling up there. We're basically looking for a break of this coil and also sort of touches, come up and try to break this declining trend line here. The other entry point is basically above this particular candle pivot here. That way, it will definitely give us a little bit of a higher high type of price pattern to move up, and essentially we're targeting it back up to the previous closing high somewhere around this 119.15. So as you can see right now, it's still coiling within this engulfing candle, but the key level that we want to watch is this particular, 103, 90. Essentially, the low for this candle is 103.88. So essentially, when looking at this 103.90 that we've also been talking about, for quite a while. So if it breaks below this, then the chances are it's going to come down. Not only test this 99.70, the IPO high, we probably see it maybe come back down to these little bit cluster here of this price action, somewhere around this 90.50 area. So definitely 90 could be in the card if it break this. So we're going to want to, just keep an eye on that. Right now, even though if we move this trend line, let's say we move it here, to touch the low, okay, let's say using some of these points here and saying this might be a little bounce here. So again, you have to keep an eye on, making above this 108.47. So essentially going above this 108.50 and then maybe trade it back up. So again, if it breaks below this 103.88, then all bets are off on the swing long. So right now we're still keeping a watch on that, but it's not really positive here. So definitely, want to see if it could break above this declining trend line. I think that's the key here. And the other one that I put out was CyberArk, software. Then again, you look at this trend line, it's like a price channel that every time that it come up to the top of that channel, it's kind of pulled back. So we got a little bounce here. If you were early, you would have gotten, when it broken here. So again, you see this is a engulfing candle is these inside candle here. So right here, you basically got this gap up on open, and you probably have to be patient to get in on this one here to try to get it on a retracement. So right now, it kind of bounced back up here, and we essentially saw a little bit of a pullback. So right now, we also was looking at this engulfing candle and was playing for a break of this engulfing candle up at this 43.30. And you can see that it failed to do that, and it's broken down yesterday, and right now it's still kind of hovering around here. So again, this is look like a little inside candle. It's this down candle, and we want to see could it come back down and maybe possibly catch it on the next bounce off of this trend line here on this price channel. So right now we're just kind of keeping an eye on it. Definitely the swing long setup that I previously posted for this particular level here is no longer valid. Okay. Then yesterday I posted some of the gold miner stuff. Here is the one of the 3x gold miner ETF. Again, be very cautious in trading these leverage ETF because these 3x is, if it's in a nice trend, then it's good. But if it's chopping around, you really get clobbered on these because because the way that it get reset every day. So, essentially looking for, the common theme is, breaking trend line, right? You see this declining trend line. We basically want to see it break this trend line. And also the other thing is looking for the higher high, so basically a higher low, higher high type of zigzag when it break these trend line. And also you look at the spacing pattern. You sort of kind of found some support here. Right now, we're essentially looking for it to break above this 1233, this pivot high, essentially also get above this trend line, and then maybe target the initial target is the previous pivot, major pivot level somewhere up here, this 1674. And then the other one is the GDXJ, the Junior Gold Miner ETF. This is the 1X ETF, so it's less dangerous. Okay, and again, we're basically looking for it to break this trend line and also break above this pivot high here, so we get this sort of a higher high. And you can see it's like a little bit of a double bottom here. Okay, so again, I mean. It, Swing trading is boring, right? We basically identify potential setup and just kind of monitor for the trigger. Okay, and that's basically what we're doing right now on these gold miner. We identify some potential setup, and it might not play out, just like the Twitter, the Alibaba, CyberArk. So we look at those, and they don't play out. Then we don't chase them, right? We don't force the trade. So it's just what we mean by wait for the trade to come to us, right? So we just monitor the setup, and if it's set up, then we all prepare with the potential stop level, entry level, and the reward and risk ratio that we calculate that we're going to play, and then we trade our plan, right? So and then here's the gold miner, right? Pivot gold. So you can see that again, we're basically looking at this, coming off of this little bit of a pivot low here, and try to break this down declining trend line, and we are basically playing for the bounce, right? Okay, back up to possibly maybe this 1329 area, and also notice these are the Fibonacci retracement too. And all I'm doing is extension. I'm setting up the retracement to be an interval of 100. So if I do these kind of set up these potential entry, potential, exit, those type of level, then I could kind of get a nice visual of where the, multiple of, reward and versus risk. So you can see this is 1x, 2x, 3x, 4x of the return of what I'm risking here. Right, so you might want to play around with your charting program if it allows you to set your retracement, Fibonacci retracement to different value. Then set up to 0, 100, 200, 300, 400, and so forth. Then kind of give you a nice little visual. Okay, that's a little trick that I use. And then here's the other one, right? Another gold stock, gold miner. And again, we're basically looking for this pivot, break out this 880. So we're still kind of waiting. Gold is kind of down today as right now. The gold future is trading down a little bit over $12. Okay, so and then there's the last one. Okay, so we're basically looking at this one here coming up, and this is like a nice little base pattern, and basically looking for it to break out of this trading band at this 430 and possibly come up for this gap fill at 530. Okay, so those are the setup that I posted in the last week or so. Okay, so let's go and take a look at some other momentum stock that we've been kind of watching. And the first one is Apple. Yeah, I got a lot of line here on Apple here. But the essentially we're looking at this trend line here. You see this trend line is kind of sort of if it kind of come back down this we're basically looking at it to sort of come down to about this 103 area, right? Okay, so this is this level here that we also was monitoring that for quite a bit back in August and September timeframe, especially in September timeframe. But then if we move that trend line up a little bit and try to touch a little bit more point, on the low, and we consider this as a aberration of this kind of came scooping down and bounced right back, then we could see that this trend line here kind of target maybe Apple, might work itself down and get a little bounce off of this trend line here somewhere around this 107, 109 area. So that might be the trend line that we might want to keep an eye on. And you can see that it came down last time. It touches that, and kind of got a nice little bounce, on this inside bar here, sort of an inside bar here on this little inverted hammer, and it gap up and it came up here, found a little bit of resistance here. We got a little shooting star right now. It's coming back down. So if it break this again, this flash crash day, this 111.27, right? That's a key point that we've been also been talking about for quite a while. And it could come back down. Then we might want to monitor this 109, 107 and see could we get a bounce off of that, okay, on Apple. Okay, right now I don't have any trade set up for Apple, but just basically just kind of monitoring it. Okay, and then on Netflix, Netflix been on this decline, and it's kind of sort of broken above that decline line, and then a little steep, but then we got another maybe a less steep declining trend line. I am in a position on this right now on a long position. So basically, trading it back up to see could it, at least get that up to this pivot level here, somewhere around the 356, 360 area here. Okay, and then the other one is Facebook. Again, we look at Facebook. We're basically looking at Facebook here on this, trend line here since this earning gap, and it's kind of trending nicely on this thing here, right? And although it kind of got a little bounce recently and came up and made a new all-time high, and it kind of pulling back right now. So the level that we want to keep an eye on right now is back at the 78.27, and if we come back down and tag this trend line here, then we're basically looking for another potential bounce instead of a swing long. See, got a nice little bounce on this inside bar here, blocking out this inside candle. Right, so, and this is a very strong bounce. Also, you can see that it just went straight up. You know, so then the another one is Tesla. Let's take a look at Tesla. Got this little declining channel here, sort of kind of bouncing up here. We came up here. I'm, I wouldn't be chasing this thing up for long to come up to this trend line here. I would be rather, wait until it come up to this trend line on this down channel, and then maybe look for swing long setup to break this trend line. Because if I were to trade this up to this trend line, I would try to catch it up here. But then, when you are trading on a upswing on a declining channel, you basically kind of setting yourself up for counter trend trade. So I would rather wait until we get up above this this level here, then make a decision to see where it's gonna go. So right now, again, I don't have any setup or a position for Tesla. Okay, then the other one is Amazon. Okay, so again, Amazon is kind of interesting. Uh, the sometime with these live video here, my mouse seems to ran out of battery. So let me go and change my battery and then come back. Okay, I'm back with the new fresh battery in my mouse. So let's take a look at Amazon. And Amazon, we were basically looking at this particular, declining, descending triangle. And you can see that it got a nice little bounce and came up to this trend line here and then pulled back. So right now it tried to get back up to this particular, trend line here. But I'm not so sure that it will be able to do that. It might just kind of get a little bit of a bounce and maybe zigzagging back down and retest this 284. So again, I did not have any setup on this, even though you see there's a little coiling effect here on this inside bar. But on these inside bar here. But right now, I'm not inclined to try to chase this thing up. So. Okay, then the last one we'll look at is Google. And again, on Google, we basically was looking at this level here, this 511, 510 level, and actually made a quick, dip down and bounce right back. Then we sort of came back up and broke this trend line. And right now, it sort of trying to make it to a higher ground, but we have to see, can it take out this trend line here? Okay, so we'll take a look at this to see can it break about this trend line and possibly make itself back up to this 567. So, I'm looking for a little bit of a price pattern. If we could consolidate here and set up a little bit of a flag, then maybe, we could get it to get back up and try to work itself up to 567. So that's basically the chart on for today. And I just want to remind everybody that there are a lot of different ways that you could follow me. I know we trade. Sometimes we there are followers out there that trade actively, and some that maybe just kind of check in and occasionally. And so you can follow me on my blog because a lot of the stuff that I put up will post on the blog, or you could also check out my Twitter stream if you don't have a Twitter account to follow me on Twitter. So you could do that, or you could follow me on Twitter. And also the other thing is, if you don't want to, constantly checking on my blog to see have I put in a new post and that sort of thing, just sign up for an email notification. And then every time that I post something on my blog, then you will get an email notification to notify you of that. And if you're only interested in watching my video, then you could go to my YouTube channel. All the video that I posted on my blog will show up on the YouTube channel. So you could go and follow me on the YouTube channel. So hopefully you had a great 2014 and wish all of you a happy, healthy, and prosperous 2015. Okay, so I talk to all of you in 2015.